It's the radio guy, Mike Prince. Welcome to another live episode of the Mike Prince Show here on Sunday night. Of course, our mission is to come to you each and every night. And we're planning to do just that in spite of whatever challenges we may be dealing with right now. Welcome. Hope you guys are safe and secure. We have a special show for you on this evening. Our scheduled guest will be Kevin Moran, superintendent of Waller Independent School District. He'll be our first guest of tonight. We'll also hear from head basketball coach Byron Smith to come and be a part of today's show. A lot that's been going on and a lot that will continue to develop throughout the course of this, I guess we'll say, period of transitioning. Do want to recognize our sponsors for tonight: Diva Skin Conditioner, Helping Hands Lawn Service, Attorney Lee Van Richardson, Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union, Temple of Refuge Ministries, and the Temple of Refuge Ministries. So we still got a lot in store and a lot going on. We've already secured a few guests throughout the week, and I think it will be rather entertaining as we continue to deal with the life with Corona aspect of things. A lot has developed, a lot has changed within a matter of a few days this past week. And it has really struck the very center of life as we once upon a time knew it. A lot of interesting community tidbits that you should be aware of that our first guest, Kevin Moran, I always want to call him Doctor. Maybe I give him a hard time about that when he comes on. But it's a lot to be discussed, a lot to be planned out even yet as we speak. It has been a domino effect across the world, not just the country, across the world. What have you done to adjust and change some things? If time permits, we'll take a few of your phone calls. Phone number is 936-333-5256. Not just yet, though, because we got a scheduled guest coming up relatively quick. But you can call in, chime in, share your thoughts, opinions, and even share some of your sports memories. There are a lot of sports memories going around because it seems that's what we're going to have to hold on to for a little while at least. So it's still a lot to discuss, still a lot of things to be weighed out. You know, the cancellation of spring sports, the cause and effects that it would have on graduation. For the most part, schools have gone to online approach. You know, ironically, I've been echoing in the case of Prairie View that if you could go online, you could increase student enrollment 20, 35% in a literally quick time. Now, with this situation that we have upon us, maybe it's one of those situations that you could set up for the future and kill two birds with one stone. We'll see. I'll tell you what we got to do right now. We're going to take us a break. When we come back, hopefully we'll be able to catch up with Kevin Moran, who is the superintendent of Waller Independent School District. You listen to the Mike Prince Show live right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We'll take us a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Serving the community through faith and athletics. The Open Mic Broadcast Network.
We'd like to recognize sponsors. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, located at 1047 Austin Street in Hempstead, Texas. Their phone number is 979-826-8008. Diva Skin Conditioner, located at divafeet.com, D-I-V-A-H feet.com. Their phone number, 903-270-0026. Prairie View Athletic Club, serving student athletes since 1986. Their phone number is 936-857-5817. Temple of Refuge Ministries, located in Prairie View, Texas, at 45372 Old Highway 290. Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union, several locations to serve you. Katy, Rosenberg, Brenham, Bryan, College Station, and Waller, Texas. Their phone numbers, toll free, 855-391-2149. If you or your business would like to be a part of the sponsorship team here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, contact us at 832-213-8824. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Mike Prince Show live right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Who says there's not a lot to talk about? I beg to differ. Proof in the pudding to that is our first guest of tonight. He is the superintendent of Waller Independent School District, and that is none other. And I keep wanting to call you doctor, but we'll talk about that later on. But Kevin Moran, how you doing this evening, sir?
I am doing well, Dr. Prince. Thank you for having me on.
Well, thank you for making yourself available, sir. And as we say, the show must go on. And speaking of the show going on, you have been a busy camper this week, man. This virus, even though we knew it was in the air, and I think we can safely say that some maybe kind of winked at it for a moment, but now you definitely got to look at this thing right in the eye. What and how has this thing shaken up your world as you once upon a time known it?
Well, I think we can all safely say we're in uncharted territory right now. And the great thing about what is happening, the Houston area, and all the school districts in the Houston area, along with Texas Department of Health, Harris County Department of Health, the Texas Education Agency, the commissioner, have all really come together to support everyone in this effort. As you know, right now we have canceled school for next week, the 16th through the 20th, as we tend to try to get a handle on where COVID-19 is going in the Houston area.
So with that being said, classes have been postponed for this next week, and the kids are turning cartwheels because they're saying it's an extra week off of school. But really, this thing could possibly lead a little bit longer. Is that not right?
That is correct. Right now, we're closely monitoring the situation every day. There is a conference call with the different health officials and different state officials, along with all the school districts in the Houston region. And we get the latest numbers and we get the projections and we kind of see what direction we need to take from this point forward. And I will tell you, the commissioner has been, Commissioner of Education has been very forward about how school districts need to prepare, and the guidelines are coming out. And I think we're all responding very well to that. With the kids being off, you know, it's always be careful what you wish for. Hopefully this will not be an extended break. If it is, we're going to be prepared to move with an educational program of some sort so that the kids are not just completely without education while they're off.
We're talking right now with Kevin Moran, superintendent of Waller Independent School District. Of course, schools have shut down all throughout the country. And as a result, we had to go back to the drawing board, as they would say. Now, what precautionary plans do you have in motion in case this thing is extended, and how would you try to keep the educational flow as normal as possible?
Well, our teams are meeting to kind of discuss options right now. It's a unique situation for districts around the state. Everybody says online programming is the way to go, but people have to understand that many of our students across the state of Texas, not just in Waller ISD, either lack internet access or lack access to devices which provide them internet access. So part of our planning is how do we meet the needs of all kids? The kids that have internet access, the kids that don't have internet access, the kids that don't have devices for internet access. And that's what we're brainstorming through this week to try to develop a plan that meets the needs of every kid. And then we also have to consider our special populations too. Our medically fragile students, are they being served? Our kids that are of special needs, are they getting their educational needs met? These are all concerns which are at the top of every school district's priority list right now, and in moving forward in those planning stages, if this should last. Of course, we all hope that it doesn't, and we hope that we can get back into school on Monday the 23rd and resume as normal. But I've always been one of the school, you expect the best, but you prepare for the worst. And we're trying to prepare for those inevitable scenarios of an extended break. If that's there, then parents will start seeing communication from us about here's how we're going to proceed forward, depending on the needs of your particular child.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're speaking live right now with Kevin Moran, superintendent of Waller Independent School District, talking about the cause and effects that have been laid upon us, or should I say thrust upon us, with the latest events of the coronavirus. Now, I almost called you coach, but I guess you're the coach of educators, so it's all the same. So when you look at this thing from a economic impact, what are the causes and effects on a school district per se, with the time or the lack of time that you got going? Because you got a whole lot of things to consider when it comes to keeping the balance of the budget.
A lot of that is dependent upon the state and how they react to this situation. I can tell you right now, the state has been very amenable in trying to work with school districts so that, one, funding is met. Of course, they're in uncharted territory as well, too. As you know, schools are funded based on average daily attendance. So if you have 10,000 kids in your school and an average of 97% show up on a daily basis, you get funded at 90% of the basic allotment for the state of Texas. So the state is starting to have to rethink that kind of priority right now. And I think they're working through it at that state level of how they're going to do that. What they have basically said to the school districts is prepare for an alternative education program, whatever that looks like, as you can best meet the needs of your students in your district, and we will work with you on the funding, although I think it's way too early to say the specifics are there. They also told us to keep copious notes and records of expenditures that we've had to incur due to coronavirus. If we have to buy a piece of equipment to allow us to provide education in a certain way, then take note of that and make sure that you, as we say it all the time, keep your receipts and have those records. So I do think everybody is really just pulling together and trying to be helpful. And that is very encouraging as you get on these conference calls with state officials and health officials. And I can tell the public, please practice the good practices that the CDC puts out. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. If we can curtail the spread of this, we'll be all much better off in the Houston area, in the state, in the United States, and in the world. That's going to be critical, is those sanitizing techniques and social distancing, as the term is being coined now.
Well, with that being the trend statement right now, social distancing, I think we had it in the mental part already with the way some of these things are operating. But when it comes to the individual behaviors, how much of a psychological I guess, comeback do you think we're going to have? Because even when this thing is once cleared, you're going to have a lot of people leery, a lot of people still being cautious. I don't want to say the term overcautious. So this is a big situation we're dealing with right now.
I think the impact is going to be studied for decades after this. It depends upon how long we're in this mode of social distancing. I think most people, like you, like me, we all want to get back to some sense of normalcy. We want life to continue as we know it. And I think that will actually happen very quickly after this virus passes. And I'm hopeful and prayerful that it will pass very quickly. And we'll get back to some type of normal behavior and normal patterns of interaction. But I think that it will be studied for years to see what is the impact, depending upon how this lasts. That's something we're going to have to deal with as a society.
Absolutely. Once again, we're speaking live with Kevin Moran, Superintendent of Waller Independent School District. You spoke earlier where you said, well, people saying, well, online schooling is the way you ought to be. And I know with the data that we have done for the Waller Independent School District students, as of recent, I think it was somewhere between a 70 to 80% of those who have some sort of internet access at home, which would give you that 20 to 30% of the have-not syndrome, if you allow me to put it that way. What, if anything, could be, I guess, created, whether it be temporarily, that could lead to long-term? In the event we have to change education the way we once upon a time knew it?
You know, being in a suburban rural area, which Waller ISD is in, as you know, we cover 328 square miles. We cover a vast distance. Much of it is not covered with high-speed internet. So many of our kids are operating off of cellular towers, if they have devices to do that, and some of them have actually weak cellular signals. Our technology department has been brainstorming and working out logistics via conference calls all weekend, trying to figure out if we fully equip our buses and designate them hotspots in certain areas so the kids could access them. That will help those kids that actually have devices, just don't have internet access. But for the kids that don't have devices, a Wi-Fi hotspot somewhere is not going to help them a great deal. So we're also looking at what is the percentage of our students that may not have those devices, but still need to obviously participate. And that's going to come down to a numbers game and maybe some of those extra expenditures that the state has told us to track, so that we can get devices into the hands of those kids so that they can complete the online work. And then, of course, there's always going to be those situations where we can't meet the needs through technology, and we just have to go back to the old pencil and paper type of assignments, which we will do. So there's a lot of brainstorming happening right now along the state of Texas, and I'd love to tell you, Waller ISD has all the greatest ideas in the world, and we've got some good ones, but we're also going to learn from other districts and what they're doing.
Absolutely. This is a time for iron to sharpen iron. And who would imagine in the 21st century that you would have to resort back to things such as pen and an old notebook pad to turn in assignments and have all kinds of things. But that is the time that we're dealing in right now. Now, of course, with the adjustments and everything, and I heard you state earlier that you want to be able to prepare for the worst, but expect the best. Graduation. A lot of parents, I myself, I have a senior graduating this year. What are some of the potential alternative plans that are out there on the table right now?
With graduation, really, graduation is so far down the road right now for us. I can't say that it's number one on the list. Right now, it's how do we produce an instructional program for the kids if we get on an extended break. And if graduations are canceled, that we're down at the end of May now, beginning of June for a lot of schools, then the impact of this virus has been seriously significant. And we're going to be brainstorming alternative ways to graduate, whether it be, we always live stream our graduations now. We do that now, and we graduate over 500 kids now and do the live stream. There might be some form of technology to do that, to where you do it in a certain way that every kid gets recognized online, but may not be all present in person. There's going to be a variety of great ideas that will come up as opposed to the traditional graduation. I would like to think in my heart that by the time we get to the end of the month of May, that a graduation ceremony will not be a problem.
Right. Well, like I said, you got to prepare for both ends, and we don't want to have anything sneak up on us. And I'm not going to say this has snuck up on us, and I'll say it crept up on us, because we were aware of this thing, but you kind of look at it, you go, okay, and then all of a sudden, like, bam, it's right there in your face. So as they say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. If there's any, as I say, truth to that method, and I believe so to be the case. Well, the UIL has spoken. They've canceled a lot of stuff. It has a cause and effect. Of course, we do sports on a daily, and we're still going to do sports, because everything I've always said has connected somehow back to sports. But now that I have you on, and we know on the high school, junior high school level, it's about winning, but it's not always about winning. And it gets a little bit more serious when you get on a collegiate level. What social impact do you see that athletics bring to the table when it comes to being a superintendent of a district?
I will tell you, athletics plays an unbelievable role. And I will not just say athletics. I'll say band, fine arts, drama, theater, and I know I'm going to leave a ton out, ROTC. Anytime kids are having to work together in unison on a team, benefits them socially in life. I think that when you see kids that are actively involved in schools, two things happen. One, they learn how to deal with people, and those interactions aid them later in life as they learn in jobs and work and schooling how to deal with other people. Athletics and all the school activities teach that. The other thing that it really helps kids do, it gives them a sense of belonging to their school. If my art project is being acknowledged at the school art fair or at the rodeo art show, which is a tremendous thing that the rodeo does for schools, there's a sense of pride there that you can't get anywhere else. So I've always encouraged kids to participate in something, whether it be FFA, whether it be ROTC, whether it be athletics, whether it be theater. Matter of fact, I would encourage kids to participate in all of those activities if they can. Now, we don't want to overstress them, but if they enjoy it and they want to be part of it, those activities are just so beneficial to them as they grow up to be adults. Absolutely.
It is a big picture, definitely. Now, I know we're running a little short on time, but I really appreciate you doing this. There's been some plans and services for kids who will not be able to get meals on a regular, but there's an antidote that Waller ISD has developed. Would you care to share that right now?
Yes, we've established basically a meal pickup locations, 3 schools in our district, spread out evenly across our district because, as I said, we're pretty vast. And those schools being Field Store Elementary, which is on Gibney Road off of 1488, and Waller High School off of Waller Spring Creek and Field Store, and also Roberts Road Elementary, which is right by 290 and Roberts Road, or Katie Hockley, and right there at the corner where parents can come by in the morning and drive into the school, though it's actually a drive-through. Police will be there to direct traffic and help them in. They can pick up their meals for their kids and go right on about their day. And we do the same for lunchtime, starting at about 11 a.m., and then come through, pick up the lunches, and go straight on. They don't need to get out of their cars. They don't need to come into the school. Matter of fact, we want to limit social interaction there as much as possible. We'll pass them the meals. They're prepackaged. How many do you need? Here you go. These are for your kids. Take them home. We've also partnered with the Houston Food Bank. As you know, being in Waller, we do this once a month usually. The Houston Food Bank will make a food delivery to Waller, and people can come by and pick up food from the Houston Food Bank and go on about their business. So we've coordinated that actually with our lunch distribution on Wednesday of this week. at the high school at 1 p.m.
Okay.
So you could actually come by, pick up lunches for your kids on Wednesday, and also pick up a sack of groceries to take home.
Absolutely.
They're pre-bagged for you, so you don't even need to get out of your car. And here you go, and take this bag of groceries home.
Okay. Now, with that, it's always about community and coming together. And just for those who would be inquiring, would there be a need for volunteers to help prepare these packages?
That's a great question, and we've been inundated with volunteers. But remember, we're trying to keep social distancing happening. So our cafeteria crew, which prepares our breakfast, lunch. They're schooled in hand sanitation. They have the masks. They have the hairnets. They have all that. They're going to be the ones doing the food distribution for the Houston Food Bank, and also doing the food distribution for the schools. And that way we keep sanitary conditions at the highest level we could possibly can, and we limit exposure of people. And it is just absolutely wonderful to see the well-meaning people calling us and saying, can I help with food distribution? And unfortunately, we have to say no at this particular point in time, just due to the serious nature of this virus.
So like you say, translation, thanks, but no thanks. Stay where you are and come by, roll on by and get what you need to get. But that's a lot of good stuff, Superintendent. And as always, you've been taking care of things, as they say, grabbing the bull by the horn and leading in a positive manner. Now, the last time we had you on, it was at a halftime during a football game. We were talking about this big bond coming up, and thanks to the community, the bond passed, and now there's been in the back of the mind, well, what does this virus, how does it affect the construction plans of the new high school that's coming out? Would you care to address that for the people?
Yes, right now there is no impact to construction. Matter of fact, I was driving to the construction site today to see the progress that they accomplished last week. They are moving dirt on the high school site now at Stokes Road and Waller Spring Creek. And of course, it's one or two guys driving bulldozers and one other guy checking it. It has not impacted construction one bit at this particular point in time. And it's really exciting to see that land now start to be cleared and brush being pushed back. And that's going to be the spot that the new Waller High School will arise from.
Okay, very good. Now, my final question for this evening, sir. Business as usual, you're scheduled for the second Monday of each month with a school board meeting. What would you like the public to know about that, and any changes that you've made with your normal procedures?
School board meeting procedures will change fairly drastically. We're going to be practicing the 6-foot distance between all board members and the public, and of course between all school personnel. School personnel at this meeting is limited to basically 2 people. Our chief information officer will be there to help with the technology components of the board meeting, and of course I will be there. Board members will be spread out. Before board members come into the boardroom will be fogged. We are blessed in Waller to have foggers which disperse medical grade hypoallergenic sanitizer to the buildings, and they're positively charged, so it envelops the room, dissipates very quickly, and then the room is hopefully virus free. People can come in. If the public comes in, we're going to put you in a general area where you'll be practicing 6-foot distancing in that meeting. The meeting at this one will be rather short. It's an abbreviated agenda due to the concerns with the virus, and we're going to get our business done as we always do and get it done well for the taxpayers and students of Waller SD. Okay,
and meeting time, of course, will be the same, 5 p.m., and no handshaking this meeting, I'm assuming, huh?
No handshaking. Unfortunately, no dinner at this one. So actually, the meeting time will probably be a little bit quicker. So this will happen a little bit faster than normal meetings do, simply because we're not going to have all the recognitions and bring everybody into a packed room and have an overflow crowd. We're going to keep this one to just the minimum.
Keep it moving. Okay. Well, look, I really appreciate you making yourself available. And at this time, we customarily here allow our guests to have some closing thoughts. And at this time, sir, the floor is all yours.
We're just very lucky to be in a great district like Waller ISD, but I'm also appreciative of our surrounding districts and how they've come together. I will give a big handshake to Tomball ISD, Cy-Fair ISD, Katy ISD, Hempstead ISD, and Royal ISD. It is a pleasure to work with those superintendents for the betterment of all our children, and not only those districts, but all the districts in the Houston area, and how they've come together to support one another. It's a credit to our region. It really is.
All right,
so
sir.
Thank you for having me on.
Oh, no, thank you for making yourself available, sir, and we appreciate you. Kevin Moran, Superintendent of Waller Independent School District. We want to take us a break, and when we come back, we're going to hear from Byron Smith, head basketball coach of the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. You listen to the Mike Prince Show live. Keep it where you got it. We'll be right back. We'd like to take this time to recognize our sponsors and supporters at the Open Mic Broadcast Network: Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union, Temple of Refuge Ministries, Prairie View Athletic Club, Attorney Lee Van Richardson, Diva Skin Conditioner, Helping Hands Lawn Service. Thank you for your support of our local and regional coverage of student athletics here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network.
Serving the community through faith and athletics. The Open Mic Broadcast Network.
Hello, this is Lonzo Hardy Jr., President of the SWAC Alumni Association. The SWAC Alumni Association is an organization founded on December 10, 1999 at the Sheraton Hotel in Birmingham, Alabama. Its mission is to serve as a rallying ground for individuals who have made the Southwestern Athletic Conference the illustrious conference that it is today. Its membership is open to former student athletes who have played in the conference in any sport, as well as to coaches, athletic administrators, staff members, game officials, and fans. Annually, the association holds a Legends Awards and Roast Banquet or Luncheon, where it honors individuals with Lifetime Achievement Awards, a Chuck Crossett Wagon Master Award, and occasionally a Distinguished Service Award. Proceeds from that event help to finance degree completion scholarships for student athletes who have exhausted their playing eligibility at SWAC universities, but who may still need an extra semester or two to complete their college studies. For more information on the SWAC Alumni Association or to get information on becoming a member, you can send correspondence to SWAC Alumni Association, 875 Miller Creek Lane, Newport News, Virginia, 23602. The email address is swacalumniassociation@yahoo.com.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are live right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network studios. We just had Kevin Moran on and gave us a lot of good information. And they're saying keeping hope alive. I think that's always a good thing. Our next guest, talking about keeping hope alive, back-to-back champions, technically back-to-back champions of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. And that's none other than head basketball coach Byron Smith. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing well, Mike. Yourself?
Oh, man, I dare not complain. In spite of everything that's going on, it's still a great day to be alive, a great day to be, as they say, in the land of the living, man. How have you been through all this? And let me add, congratulations, Coach of the Year.
Thank you, Mike. I've been doing well, just trying to take it all in. I'm sure as all other 360 Division I coaches and coaches even beyond Division I in the NAIA Division III, junior college, high school, AAU, it's affecting all of us, obviously having our season cut short. But, once again, I do feel that it was necessary, that the decision that was made with careful thought and deliberation, with health and far from danger, keeping people from danger. I think that was at the forefront. So even though we would still like to be playing basketball and getting ready to get our assignment for the NCAA tournament, which we were very confident that we were going to be a participant, that this had to be done. So, but disappointed at the same time.
Oh, yes, sir. Now, this is going to be a bigger effect than what we probably want to admit at this stage right now. Because when you go through the precautions of shutting down, no doubt one of the greatest money generators in the planet, the March Madness, the NBA shutting down, and all the professional sports taking suit. Now, I've heard you say it, and I agree to disagree to a degree at times in the past, where you said baseball is the greatest sport on the planet, but basketball kind of took the lead in the charge on this thing right now, with setting the precedent of where we are right now.
Well, I just think because most of our leagues right now is playoff time, and it's really exciting time, postseason time, and that's when the interest really is revved up. Whereas, obviously baseball is just kind of getting started. Some of the other sports are just kind of getting kicked off. So I definitely think this time of year it's the most watched sport. It's the most exciting sport. That generates a lot of focus and attention, and just like that, in a matter of time, it's kind of been taken away. So I think all of us are, like I said, just trying to deal with it and process it, and it still really hasn't hit us probably as much as it's going to in the next few days, with the tournament set to start on Tuesday night, and for the next 3 weeks, there's definitely going to have a great effect on all of us involved.
Now, of course, it's going to have an effect on players and an effect on coaching, an effect on recruiting. How do you start trying to assess this from a mental point of view, Coach?
Well, I think really for me, Mike, was that I still was, maybe selfishly or maybe even foolishly holding out hope that maybe that this deal could be rescheduled, postponed, pushed back to later in April or May. So, but I think, with the final words of our president, Mr. Emmert, and Mr. Gavitt over the selection committee, that they finally kind of put a pin in the coffin, a nail in the coffin, if you will, that it basically is over. So tomorrow when I get up, I'll start to try to formulate and start trying to process what we need to do, and obviously letting our players know that there's no chance that we're going to resume and pick up play, and wait for some interesting decisions to be made as well from the NCAA. I mean, there's some people that may seem to think that there could be some extra time granted to some of the seniors who missed out. I don't know how that could play out. I don't know how that could be of the winter sports, but maybe there could be a consolation in this in the end, that maybe there could be a percentage of the season given back to these guys, or a conference season. I'm not sure how it can all happen, but I would hope that something would happen, especially for the seniors that are out, the outgoing seniors, that obviously this is what it's all about for them, to have a chance to play in the postseason NCAA tournament. And once again, for us in particular, I was very confident that we would be the SWAC representative in the NCAA tournament in the back-to-back fashion. I was very confident in that. But so some questions that remain to be answered yet, and but I'm eagerly anticipating what they will do, if anything. That may, like I say, add a bit of a consolation to some of our guys that are very, very disappointed at this point in time that their season has been cut short.
Well, and in response to that, Coach, I could really, really feel about the tournament play. But I think the comeback would be, the regular season did get complete, so the seniors, although it's a rough road that you're on right now, I don't see them possibly getting any type of clemency, if you would, for some extended play. Now, they might do some type of commemorative coin or something like that, and say, and
how about a stipend, Mike? How about a stipend from the NCAA?
A stipend? Well, I mean, hey, you know what? Money is always good. But hey, here's your stipend. We'll credit you 3 hours before class in case you needed some help. That's probably
take that. Hey, we'll take that because of when you're dealing with APR and you have to adhere to that. Anything will be good as long as it's something that's afforded to all seniors and all student athletes, not looking for any preferential treatment. But I just think that something would be really good to do, to say, hey, this is what happened. It was beyond our control, but here you go. Pat on the back, and here you go. Here's something that may help get your life started when after graduation.
Okay, now and now in some cases they might say, "Here's a ham sandwich and a red apple," and and say,
"Yeah, plenty of those."
I know that's right. We're talking right now with Coach Byron Smith of the Prairie View A&M University Panthers, SWAC regular season champions back to back, and depending on who you ask, back to back tournament representatives of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Now, Coach, we know that everything has been cut short. How do you try to start regrouping for recruiting down the road? I know the NCAA has put a freeze on basketball operations for recruiting and everything else, but technically it doesn't stop you from surfing and gathering up data as much as you can. What are some of the things that you're doing in this, we'll say, downtime?
Well, we're not really talking to kids a lot. But we're pretty far down the line in recruiting, kids for the 2020-2021 season. So I think, these kids are smart kids. They know what's going on, and they have been made aware that we're limited as to how much we can get out and how much we can talk and do things in terms of recruiting. But I do feel that we're pretty far down the line and having interest from a lot of top flight student athletes. I think that can come in and have a day one impact, that's how we recruit, Mike. And as you probably know, we like to bring in kids that hit the ground running and ready to play day one. So I do think that once this ban is lifted, I think that we will be business as usual. We'll get right back in there and get out and start doing a little bit more visiting, home visits, evaluations, official visits on campus, bring them to our beautiful campus and let them see just what we have to offer. And I think that we once again will have the best recruiting class in the conference. We will continue won't say our dominance, but we will definitely continue our consistency as one of the top teams in the league. I don't see that changing anytime soon, Mike.
Okay. Once again, we're speaking with Byron Smith, head basketball coach of the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. Now, there has been some criticism, and whenever you're in leadership, you're going to get some criticism. You're not going to make everybody happy. Some saying that they should have suspended the games, not postponed the games, and they shouldn't have shut down the entire spring season. And with all that being said, as we say, it's better safe than sorry. When you look at this overall, I guess, knee-jerk reaction from the fans, what would be your message to them right now?
We apologize. That obviously there's no one that wanted to play more than the actual players and teams and coaches and programs. But we do apologize. But sometimes, Mike, things are beyond your control, and we were keeping our fingers crossed and hopeful that they would deliberate a little bit more, and maybe just, like I said, take some time away from it and not be influenced. Because obviously, I think that once Rudy Gobert tested positive, we knew that it was a trickle-down effect and that it was going to have an impact. Once the NBA shut their season down temporarily, which they're going to go back to their season in 30 to 45 days, from what I'm understanding, I knew that they would have a great effect on us and our league. But I just kind of was hoping that, a lot like the fans, that maybe something could be worked out. But I think at the end of the day, I think it was a lot of pressure to make the decision to go ahead and just cancel the rest of the season because this is something that's, never really been seen before in terms of a virus. And a lot of people are still trying to wrap their arms around it as to what's going on, how to deal with it, how to treat it. I mean, there's so many things, so many unanswered questions right now. But to my message to them would be, as you said, better be safe than sorry. We do apologize. We definitely wanted to continue to play because it's the greatest time of the year. That month of March is pretty spectacular and really exciting. And I think it generates a lot of interest and a lot of, goodwill, like bring smiles to people's faces and, who's going to be the Cinderella team this year, who's going to be the team, the underdog team and things like that. So we would just apologize and just wish it could have been worked out. Something could have been worked out to where that the show could have gone on, but unfortunately that wasn't the case.
Well, I hear you loud and clear, but I don't really think there is a need to apologize. because let's reverse the roles. You have a daughter, she's athletic, and they go ahead and let your daughter go out there and play, and something happens, and they can say, oops, I'm sorry, we're praying for you.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that doesn't help much. I agree.
That doesn't help much at all. And sports is a centerpiece of a lot of people, yours included. And but you got to realize there are some greater things than who hit the final shot, who got the bonus money and all that when the dust settles. Because if you know how to make money, you'll always go back and make money. But there are some things which has been proven these last few days that's a little bit more important than money right now.
Yeah, it is. Health is you only have one life, and you do have to be very careful and cautious. But I guess it's just that competitive spirit, Mike. It's sometimes hard to cage that thing, and you just want to, it's all you know. I mean, like I said, I tell people all the time, I know basketball, and I struggle with 2 + 2, but I know basketball, and that's when I'm at. That's when I'm at my most comfortable. You start asking me a bunch of questions about politics and about the economy and things like that. Man, I'm like a deaf mute. But you ask me some things about basketball, I can sit there and talk to you for hours on top of hours, days on top of days, because it's my comfort zone, and it's where I feel like I don't have any expertise, but I have a little bit more experience at that than I do anything else in life. So. It's at the end of the day, it's a shock, but again, like you say, health should prevail and will prevail, and the focus on health will always prevail, and I think that the right decision was made. I think right now it's just absence right now, and people just trying to fill in their time. They can't fill their brackets, so they're trying to fill in their time right now. And what are we going to do? You can only watch so much Sanford and Son and Martin. As I do, you're looking for other things to do, Mike, right now. So I will tell you this: my overall basketball game, Mike, will improve because I'm getting back in the gym myself to work on my own personal game. So I'll be back up to 3 nights a week of playing in the 45 and over league, and I'm looking forward to dominating in that competition. So pray for me, Mike.
We're gonna have to get some LL Cool J. Don't call it a comeback.
There you go, brother. There you go.
Well, look, man, as I don't have to tell you, but let me remind you, as you get 45 and older, them bones get a little bit more stiffer and harder to heal. So you be careful out there on that floor, man, and make sure that you don't have any type of injury clause in your contract.
Well, Mike, I tell my significant other to always add an extra gallon of milk on the grocery list to make sure those bones they don't go too brittle too soon. So far so good.
So far so good. It said milk does the body good. I do understand that. Well, look, Coach, I know that it's an adjusting period, and it's ironic that you would bring up Sanford and Son. Sanford and Son is one of my favorite of all time.
It is my favorite.
Hey, man, it doesn't even matter what's going on. I know the lines almost verbatim, and I chuckle myself to death. But here's something that has intrigued Sanford and Son for me, and some people just look at it as a sitcom, but and maybe I got too much time on my hand, Coach. But here you have this guy, Fred Sanford, or Red Fox. He was so dedicated to his wife that he never really saw someone who could replace her after all those years after her death. He was dedicated to the well-being of his son. He was an entrepreneur, and in his own way, if he dealt with you, he dealt with you, and if he didn't, he didn't. But the constant denominator, man, he was always looking to improve he and his family situation. And I know that's probably putting too much into a sitcom, but that to me is an epic series, man, that never grows old for me.
You know what, Mike, I tell you, and I share your sentiment, but I tell you, every time I watch it, it's almost like I watch it for the first time. I mean, it never gets boring, never gets dull. I can quote almost every line as you say that you can, and you know what? People often look at me as some type of I won't say a weirdo, but they say, "Man, how many times are you going to watch this show episode?" But Mike, I tell people all the time, "Hey, this is a family show." So aside from the humor that I get from watching him and the different characters that are on there, it takes me back to my childhood, Mike. So we're sitting there with my grandparents on the couch, and it was a family deal, and we watched it time and time and time again, and you couldn't say a word. Two things on my grandfather's house you couldn't talk: when Sanford and Son was on, and when Walter Cronkite was on in the 5 o'clock news.
I know that's right. Hush.
So it's more exactly hush. Yeah, monkey or knucklehead or donkey. I mean, all these different adjectives that my grandfather would use to try to get my attention. But it's just something that stuck with me. But it's more of a memoir for my family and my upbringing, and takes me back and the good times I had with my grandparents. So that's why I love it, and I adore the show, and I never, ever, ever get enough of it.
No, man. So see, I'm finding out more about you each time I talk to you, man, and I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
now this is how crazy it is. I have the DVD series, plus whenever it comes on TV One Saturdays, I'll let you in on a secret. Saturdays around 7, 8 o'clock, TV One run them back to back, and I watch it till I fall asleep, and I don't move. Do you hear me?
Yes,
I do not.
Absolutely.
So, man, that's all right, brother. That's all right, and we will get back to they say the normality of things in the very near future. Now, we talked about the potential length that this thing could bring about. In the back of your mind, what do you feel the worst case scenario as far as time away from doing things as you are accustomed to doing them?
The ban on the recruiting, if that's what you're speaking about, and kind of getting back to business as usual, I think was April 15th. I think that probably will be a little bit shorter than that. I do think that the NCAA will probably allow us an extra recruiting period, maybe an extra few days, an extra week, because we right now we are, kind of being, hampered, because right now, teams are finishing up their season, and, recruiting never stops. But this is really an integral time right now in recruiting, to try to change some kids' minds, some kids that are verbally committed, that have not signed to an NLI. And right now, with, the coaching carousel kind of getting ready to get started, there's going to be some turnover in coaches and things like that. Now's the time for you to kind of go in and to be able to connect with these kids and have a conversation with them, and maybe try to get them to stay home as far as Prairie View is concerned. But I do think somewhere a little bit before April 15th, I think that they probably will lift the ban and will allow us to get back out and give us some additional time to go out and recruit for the spring signing period. That's my hope, and that's kind of my belief as to how it all play out.
Well, regardless of what Corona has done, some institutions across the country have went ahead and hit the gavel, if you would, on some coaches. One major note, Dan Marley of Grand Canyon was relieved of his duties. Bottom line, this is still a business, huh, Coach?
It is a business, and I think that my personal opinion on that is that I kind of was around Coach Marley a little bit, and just kind of know some people that know him. I think that his dream job was always be the head coach of the Phoenix Suns, and but I think it becomes a situation, Mike, where you can't love who you want, you love who you're with. So I think Grand Canyon became his backup. And I just think that they put a lot of resources into the institution. They've got unbelievable facilities out there. The Colangelos are very involved. One of the most prominent owners in sports, the former owner of the Phoenix Suns, and the president of Basketball USA for the Olympic team and things like that. So they've got a lot of positive things going on out there, a lot of resources, a lot of great facilities. And I think they're just waiting to kind of get it going. He was there 7 years, and I just don't think that he took him to the NCAA tournament any of those years that he was there. And I just think that they're ready to do that. So the surprise for me was that Rick Pitino got back in at Iona, which was a bit of a surprise and a shock to me that he is back in college basketball with everything that kind of happened at Louisville here a few years ago, 2017, when he was fired for the FBI investigation. But he's back amongst the living in college basketball coaching. So that was a little bit of a surprise to me. I think he's a heck of a basketball coach. I'm happy that if he got another opportunity, but still was a little bit surprising with all the things that are going on. But Dan Marley being let go, Rick Pitino being hired, those are two of the surprises of the early spring coaching carousel.
Well, it's just a matter of what else is going to be. But one thing I can promise you, as long as I can, we're going to have you on, man, and we're going to, as I say, get a chance to chop it up. We truly appreciate you. We want to give you some closing thoughts and comments, man, as we get ready to shut this segment down.
Mike, once again, what a great year it was. It was a little bit inconsistent in the fact that we weren't able to finish the way that we wanted to, but I think it's something to be said. Anytime you can show that consistency and being back-to-back conference champions, that's not easy to do at any level, to maintain that consistency with almost, with a lot of new guys from last year's team, and to come back and to be able to duplicate it. I think that says a whole lot about our program and where we are with the great coaches. I think I've got the best staff in the country. I don't think I've really mentioned those guys enough, and Landon Bussey and Wendell Moore and Spencer Robinson and Jackson Majors. Those guys are doing an unbelievable job day to day with keeping our program where it needs to be going, and all the checks and balances. And they're just such a hard-working group of guys, and I'm blessed to have them, working with me. And obviously the support from the administration has been great. And, once again, our fans have done a great job, and they've come out, they support it, and we hope that will continue. And people like yourself, you have a job to do, but at the same time, we all know that you're a Panther, a loyal Panther, and, always, like I say, from day one, you've been there, Mike, and I hate to be redundant, but, you've been a big supporter of mine personally, as well as the program, and that's not going to go, forgotten. And I really appreciate the support that you've shown me personally and professionally, as well as being an alumni. So if people like you will continue to do the things that you guys are doing, it's only going to be better days. And we want to continue to be, at the top of the league and top of the ladder, and make PB Nation proud all over the country. So that's a goal. But it's definitely a blessing to have this job. I'm excited about it and looking to do greater things moving forward in the future with our program.
All right, my friend, the check is in the mail. You go out there and be careful on that court, and you stay safe, and we'll talk to you real soon, all right?
Thank you so much, Mike.
All right. Thank you. Coach Byron Smith of the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. We're going to take us a break, and we'll be right back with some closing thoughts and comments here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, the voice of student athletics. We'd like to take this time to recognize our sponsors and supporters at the Open Mic Broadcast Network: Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union, Temple of Refuge Ministries, Prairie View Athletic Club, Attorney Lee Van Richardson, Diva Skin Conditioner, Helping Hands Lawn Service. Thank you for your support of our local and regional coverage of student athletics here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network.
Be the one with courage to fight child abuse.
All Texans must find the courage to fight child abuse.
Learn the signs and symptoms and report suspected abuse to appropriate authorities.
Learn and know these warning signs.
A child who undergoes changes in behavior, appetite, or routine.
Watch for unexplained injuries, a change in academic performance, or loss of interest by a child in regular activities.
Trust your instincts. If you suspect something, do something.
If you believe a child is in an abusive situation, please call the Texas Abuse Hotline at 1-800-252-5400.
Be the one with courage. To find your local Children's Advocacy Center, visit onewithcourage.org.
On behalf of children, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, believe it or not, we've come to the end of the road for today. I want to thank our special guest on tonight, Superintendent of Waller Independent School District, Kevin Moran. A lot of good information, a lot of positive energy flowing around in such a time as this. Also want to thank Coach Byron Smith. We still got some shows to produce. and we're going to get her done. I want to thank our sponsors on tonight: Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union, Temple Refuge Ministry, Prairie View Athletic Club, Attorney Lee Van Richardson, Diva Skin Conditioner, Helping Hands Lawn Service. And we want to thank you, our listeners. Don't forget the website, obnradio.com. Social media handles for Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all at The Mike Prince Show. The YouTube channel, I need you guys to subscribe to that today if you could. Open Mic Broadcast Network, and our 24-hour dial-in message line, 713-570-6736. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. I must exit stage left. Lord say the same when the creek don't rise. We'll see you tomorrow morning. You guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.